Hey Crafts and Curls, this is the first time that I'm doing a tutorial on the Sentro. I've tested it out myself. It's totally different from the Addi. I love my Addi Express knitting machine. This one's a bit larger, so I want to have some larger beanies, and I'm creating some now for my Christmas market. This is September and I'm creating for December, actually November. I'm not even sure when the Christmas market starts, but I just want to show you how I'm using this and just the setup or startup process if you're new to the Sentro. I do have a digital counter on my machine. I actually need some more batteries. I have two batteries come with this, and both of them are already out. I've had this for a while, so it's time to get another battery. So instead, I'm just wearing my handy dandy finger counter so that I can click. I mean, this is better than nothing, because the counter on the Sentro counter, it didn't even work from day one. Like, as soon as I started the machine, and see what happens. I'll put this to 0. Out of the gate, the row counter officially doesn't work. And I was excited. I set the counter to 0 and it just started fumbling itself from the beginning. All right, so on the Sentro, I'm gonna start with a long tail. Like I said, I'm doing a Christmas beanie, so this color is very Christmassy. What is it called? Merry and Bright. So I'm taking a long tail. On the Sentro, one of the differences is that it has all of the pins the same color as this base here, this pink color. But there's one pin that is white, as you can see it right here. I'll zoom in. But all the others are this color here, as you can see them popping up. And so this machine goes all the way up to 48. This white pin is actually the last pin, but when I use it as the first pin. And I also have this section, let's see if you can see it, this section of the machine marked with the black marker so that I can see it coming around a bit easier. The setup on the Sentro is similar to the setup on the Addi. You first hook the first needle pin, whatever you call them. The things that pop up, they're pins. I'll say that. Hooks. So I'm hooking the first one, and I'm going to crank the machine, which is going to turn the base around. So I'm going to weave this yarn in and out, or in front and behind every pin. So every other pin is hooked. The other pins that are not hooked in the front, it's wrapped around the back. Got to be careful on this one so that you don't miss any pins. Take your time, go slow. And you know you're back to the front when you wrap the yarn around the back of the last pin. And so this groove right here, I'm going to zoom in so that you can see it. This is where the yarn goes, and you have to kind of snap it down so that it catches, right? And the Sentro also has this tensioner on this side here. There's 3 grooves, and I typically put it in the second groove, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'll insert it here. So I don't count this first row as one. The next row I count as one. So I'm just going to continue to wind the machine, and it's going to grab the yarn because it's going through this feeder right here, and it's going to hook the yarn under every pin. You'll hear that clicking. That's just because it's the first row. After this row, it's going to stop the clicking. So I'm back to this black pin, which is the beginning of my needle. I'm sorry, not a black pin. I just marked it with a black marker. I'm back to the white pin, which is the first one that I started with. So now I'm gonna click my counter, my row counter. So do you hear now? There's no clicking. It's a lot smoother. That's one thing that I like about the Sentro. It's a lot quieter than the Addi. But it still likes some yarns better than others. So we're just gonna keep going. Every time I hear this swish of the row counter, even though it doesn't work, it still makes a noise. So every time I hear that, I'm gonna click my button here so that I know what row I'm on. Very, very smooth. It's not as convenient as having the digital counter working, so I definitely need to get another battery or two, a pack of batteries. Giving myself some more slack. Oh, click. So for my beanies, I do 140 rows. Click. Giving myself more slack. I'm gonna come back when we're on row 70 because we'll be halfway there. I'll see you back. We're at row 70. One of the reasons that I wanted to come back at row 70 is to show you what the scarf knits up like. Very, very colorful, merry and bright, right? And to show you what it looks like at halfway, and also because this is around the time where I have to roll up the bottom so that it's not dragging the floor and bunching up around the edge. And I'm just pushing this down just to make sure that the stitches are grasping onto each of the pins and we don't skip any stitches. So we're just going to continue on. We're halfway there. I'm holding, I don't have to hold the yarn down here because the tensioner holds it. Just in my mind, I like to hold it. But as I'm holding it, I can easily just click the row counter every time it goes one full pass. And I can hear the noise when it passes. Now I'm gonna come back when it's all finished. 140 rows. We're at row 40, yay! So now I'm gonna take the yarn out of the tensioner and I'm going to make sure that I get the very last pin hooked with the yarn, which is this one. And I'm just gonna pull this out of the tensioner and out of the yarn guide, and I'm gonna go around the length of the machine, And then I'm going to cut the yarn. This is what we have left from this full skein. This is 269 yards, 4.3 ounces. There's a little bit left to do something with. Part of another project. The Sentro comes with darning needles, different sizes. I just happen to have all of my hooks and needles in this container. But here are the needles that come with the Sentro. You have this size, you have a crochet hook, actually, and then these are the darning needles. Personally, I like to use a darning needle that has a little bit of a curve, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. I got a pack of metal darning needles. I love these. They work so much better than the plastic ones. The plastic ones still work good, but I like this holder, and plus I like the fact that it's curved. The needle that comes inside the Addi is plastic, but it is curved like this. But these are amazing, and there's a pack of all different colors and sizes. So I'm just going to use this one to thread this needle here. And I like to use the hook facing down because it's easier for me, I found, to pick up the yarn that way. So I'm hooking the last one. It's out of the feeder, out of the tensioner, and I'm just going to continue to turn the crank. So the pins that are remaining with yarn around them, we're going to pick those up. So I'm going to pick up this first one and just thread it through all the way. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way around, making sure not to drop any stitches. Not on purpose anyway. Sometimes it happens accidentally, right? And we've got the last stitch. I can take this out. And here's our beanie. Let's put it all together. I don't need my counter anymore. I can just reset it and take this off. Until next time. So for the beanie, I have my pom-pom that we're going to use. I have the button to attach the pom-pom. I have my tag, my darning needle that's curved, and a crochet hook to help put the pom-pom on, and of course scissors here. So let's just first stretch the beanie. There's only one yarn that we have. We didn't change colors. Well, automatically variegated changing colors. But we're going to make sure our tails line up. And we're going to stretch it this way and then stretch it this way, lengthwise and widthwise. And depending upon which end you want to be the front and the back, with this one it doesn't matter because the pattern is variegated. So the front, the back, the inside, the outside, it all looks the same. So we're going to go ahead and gather the edges just a little bit. So we're going to pull on the string and then adjust the gathering so that it's evenly distributed. I'm going to do that on both sides. Adjust the string. Adjust the loops. Pull it a little bit more. So I have both ends scrunched in a little bit. So now, since this is a double walled beanie, a layer for comfort, we're going to pull both ends together. So I put my arm through the hole and I'm grabbing this edge and I'm just pulling it through so that I can match the ends up. And this tail right here should match the tail from the other side, which is right here. So both of these tails are coming out in the same place. And I'm just going to match the ends up together and hold them in one hand so that I can stretch and flatten and smooth everything else out. All right. So this is the outside end and this is the inside end. So first I'm just going to draw the inside tight, just adjusting it, making sure it's evenly distributed. It's not like bunched up. I'm going to pull it really tight, but not so tight that it snaps. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the outside. Pulling it tight, but not so tight that it snaps. And now I'm going to cut a bit of the excess off, giving myself about that much, so that I can now first just tie a knot. Tight, but not so tight that it snaps. Now I need to get a darning needle that will go through the holes on my button. I just remembered that. So I need a skinnier needle. There should be a skinnier one in here. This one is skinnier. Then I can put the other ones back. So I'm threading this one so that I can put it through the buttonhole. On one side, take the other yarn and thread it so I can put it through the other buttonhole. Now that we have the button on, we can pull it a little tighter, and we're going to tie a bow. Tight though, a double bow. So that's one, and tie another one. And then once again, we're going to cut off the excess. So now we have the button on the inside of the beanie, and I'm gonna take the crochet hook and stick it in this hole at the top through to the other side so that we can grasp the elastic that's on the pom-pom. So here I am sticking this through the hole here and making sure it comes through on the hole on this side, so you can see that. That's the hook coming through. Because this pom-pom has an elastic on it, and this is what we're going to grab. The crochet hook is grabbing the pom-pom, elastic so we can pull it through to the other side. And we pulled that through to the other side. And I'm just gonna grab it with my finger so that I can put it around the button. Pull that bow back through. So now the elastic is around this button, so when I flip it over, it's attached. Cool, right? So cool. Look how festive, double walled. And we're going to fold up the brim so we can add our tag using this thin, skinnier darning needle so I can go through the holes of my handmade tag. And I'm just using the yarn that we cut off to weave it in. Pulling it through so that I can see the red. And I'm just going to sew through here a few times and then weave the extra on the inside. And then I can stretch it and it will just get absorbed on the inside. How cute! Our Miriam Bright beanie.